Hello, guys, and thank you for joining us today on another episode with Entrepreneurial Truth. I'm Kessie Case, and today we have Peter Banigo, and he is joining us today. He has the Tech Your Business podcast, as well as he's from Target ICT Limited. He's going to talk to us today about his journey, entrepreneurship, marketing. He's going to bring his expertise to the table. I know you'll be delighted to hear from him. Peter, happy to have you today.
Glad to be on too, Casey.
Awesome, awesome. So, listen, I learned a little bit about you, your journey. We had a great conversation, and I want you to share with our listeners a little bit about you, where you're coming from, where you started, and where you are today.
All right, so basically, I started my journey, entrepreneurial journey. I'll talk about that for the purpose of this show. I started that back in 2010. That's like 14 years ago, the day I finished my college. So I had the idea to start a web hosting company. So I started that. Fortunately for me, that worked out because most times businesses don't work out. I think that's what gave me the courage, the confidence. Then 2010, 2011, I started an SMS wholesaling business. 2012, 2011 too, I started a barbecue. So I just kept starting different things. I because I since the first one worked, second one worked. I had that confidence and kept starting different things. Then that continued up till 20. I started to Target ICT 2018. At the point I started Target ICT, I had four of the businesses I had started before running at the same time. Then, something happened, and I found myself having to focus only on Target ICT from 2018. And what I always tell people is that that's where I realized that focus is really powerful.
Agreed. Agreed. Focus is powerful. And I know as entrepreneurs, we have that mindset where we want to do all these different things.
Multiple streams of income.
Well, you know what? I think we may have what they call monkey mind, right? So we want to do
It's
this and we want to do that. But I get it. Focus is important. And how has focus changed your business?
Okay, so I think one thing I noticed, back then we always had this. I used to have this fear that probably if I'm doing one single thing and something happens, I'm not going to have that thing again. But what I realized was that those four things I did, I had a team. I had a team running those businesses and all that, but I never ever had time for myself. That's first of all. Secondly, I hardly had the business to make it like one or two of the business were making a lot of money, but I hardly had enough money for my personal stuff because while this business is making money, this one is taking it away. So, so
Yep.
it was just a big mess because one business was B2B, the other was B2C. Everything was just you wake up in the morning. Then I used to wake up around. I used to be in the office by 6:30 in the morning. Then I won't be back home till like 8 or 9. And I used to do this from Monday till Sunday. I had no breaks and I had no breaks or anything. But now I decided, okay, Target ICT is something. The first thing I started was IT. Before I started doing any business, I was always buried in my computer. So that's my thing, tech and figuring things out and all that. So once I focused on Target ICT, I realized I have these days I only work Mondays to Fridays. I work 9 to 5. I don't work outside
The us.
working hours. Yeah,
Yep.
and funny enough, I have a lot more money to myself than I had having those multiple streams of income. And
Oh, oh, speak to them, speak to them, speak to them. Oh,
a lot money. I have much more time. Like I have time to after we talk, I'll be going to the gym for 2 hours. I didn't have the time to do that back then. I couldn't even imagine doing that back then. So
hmm
it was that bad. So I think focus is good because you now instead of trying to go wide and stay shallow, now you just go deep on what you know, stay narrow. And the funny thing is that anything, like the fear is to have that if anything goes wrong, what you're going to do and all that. I don't think the fear is really founded, because if anything goes wrong, you can either find a way around the same business to find a solution or find a new group of people to serve with your experience so far. And apart from that, so another thing I learned at that point was when you have your business, especially when there is plenty, when you have surplus, you have more than enough, you should always plan for the future. So I'm trying to build a life where at least if 2 3 years I don't work, I won't be bothered. I won't be
Mm-hmm.
stressed or anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And whatever it was, that experience that brought you to this place, right? How has
Yeah.
it changed you as a person? Like, what have you started to implement to make you better as being an entrepreneur? As
Okay. What have I started to implement? I think one thing I've started implementing, especially in the last year, this 2024, so from 2023, one thing I always tell people, for the first like 34, 35 years of my life, I didn't know what the inside of a gym looked like. I never
oh,
participated in any sports.
oh,
As until date, I don't even watch any sport because growing up, I never participated in any. So I didn't get the interests in any of it. But I realized I was really, 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 really unhealthy. I was unhealthy. And the thing is that when you're not healthy, both mentally and physically, you're going to be working really hard, but you're never going to maximize your potential. You're never going to do the maximum you would have been able to do if you were fully fit. So since 2023, I've been not focused, yeah, focusing. I've been putting a lot more attention on my health, a lot more attention. So these days I walk every day. I make sure my job is sitting. So I make
mm-hmm,
sure before I start sitting in the morning, I take like a 1 hour walk. That's about 6,000 steps or thereabouts. Then after, so that means, okay, even though I sit the whole day, I've already walked. Then after walk for the day, I go to the gym like 3 times a week, probably to compensate for the past like 3 decades or so. Then I try to watch my food. I think for the past year or so, I've really cut down on processed anything. I don't drink soda anymore. I don't drink Coke. I've been in that battle trying to stop sugar.
yeah, sugar is one of those things.
Yeah, so just basically, I think health has been the main thing I've been this because my brain is clearer, my brain is fuzzy. I always tell people I feel much younger now than I did when I was 25, and
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. It's interesting actually.
And here are the things, right? I think we focus a lot on business, right? So as an entrepreneur, we're focusing all the time on getting
On
from point
business.
A to point B and servicing our clients, making sure they're happy. But we have to find happiness too as entrepreneurs, you know?
Yeah.
And then route brings me back to the point, right? So you're
Yes.
focusing now on health.
Yes.
What systems have you also put in place in terms of your business so that your business is growing too while you're still focusing on your health?
All right. So for the business parts, one thing I know I mentioned earlier that I always used to jump up and start things, jump and start different things. So one thing I've really done in the past few this 2024 for the past like 4 years or thereabout has been to cultivate and to make sure that focus works. I try to set goals this time, and not just set goals. I try to set goals that I track, because I've always set goals back in the day. I'll say, okay, it's December, it's January, we set a goal for this, or it's this quarter and we're setting a goal for this. But the funny thing is that when you just set goals that way, you don't really, a lot of times it's after the time for the goal has elapsed, you remember, or you say, oh, I set this goal and I didn't do anything about it. So these days, what I do these days is I have a system. It's a paper this thing calendar. So I get really distracted. I know I know everything I've said so far, so I make that really clear. So I used to have a to-do list before. I've always had a to-do list all through my business time. But I realized when I pick up my phone to check my to-do list, I might go somewhere else that's not related to work or what I wanted to do. So I developed this. It's paper. It has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Then it has the day divided into 30 minutes. And every Sunday, I have my assistant send the PDF of the week for me. So the PDF has those, like this interview, we scheduled it last week. The PDF has this at this time today. So, and I have it always in front of my computer. So once I'm in front of the computer, I look at the time, I look at the paper. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. So it's really kept
Ooh.
me focused, kept me grounded, and that way I can walk. My phone can be in another room, and I'm just focused, just me, my computer, and I get a lot more done, like 5, 6 times more done than before, honestly.
I love that tip. I love that tip because a lot of us have what they would say ADD, ADHD, or
Yeah.
frustration, right? Having the piece of paper where you're not looking on your phone because your phone is going to say, hey,
Yes.
it's something's going to pop up. I love, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because you don't know how many people you just saved with that a while ago.
Honestly, because it was a running battle. Like I've had Todoist app, the Todoist app for like 10 years now. Like I'm at the highest level for usage of the app. I realized it wasn't really working. I have Google Calendar. It wasn't really working. So what we do now, the system is just, I still use Todoist, I still use Google Calendar. Like if we are talking and maybe we have mention something, I just throw it into Todoist to look at later. But what happens is that on Sundays, I and my assistant go through and put those things on my Google Calendar and my Todoist on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need, so those distractions just leave me till weekend.
Right. And it's funny, right? Because you're in technology space, right? So we're both in the technology space. No, no, you're laughing. But you know what? It's bad. It's bad. Because I'll be on my computer and something pops up. I'm like, oh yeah. And then another, oh yeah. Like 100 notifications. And then for me, I have kids, so they send me messages and I'm like, oh yeah, the day is done. The day is literally done. I'm like, wait,
Gone.
what happened?
No,
Wow.
no, it's
How
crazy because I think so. Someone mentioned that the people that those in technology are usually the biggest technophobes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, I mean, okay, so I'm gonna bring up the point, right? So are you an Apple or are you like Android user? Which one do you?
Android Windows.
No. Okay. 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 Hold on. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I have avoided it, right?
All right.
I feel like I need the simplest point of entry. I just need buttons that I can just press and be like, if it has too much capability and it's too technical, I feel like it's gonna distract me. So I use Apple. But everybody else in the technology, no, they're like, no, Android is the way to go. I'm like, yeah, yeah, I get that. I just want some big buttons with the phone number so I can just dial
Yeah.
out. Okay.
No, I think I like the control. Like I have a MacBook behind me there. I think I only take it out maybe if I want to go out and I know I need to do a bit of work because my browser, everything is synced. I have the Dropbox and everything. So if I want to go out, I use the Mac
hmm
that's behind me. But if I want to work, I'm using my Windows PC.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I will confess, I only have the phone as Apple. I refuse. When I was in college, I went through so many um MacBooks, and they couldn't the it couldn't hold up to the amount of
Yes.
it it mm-mm, it was flailing.
They just go off
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
it. I've
yeah.
had
They
that a
can't
lot too.
manage. They can't manage, and yeah, for
like
people in the tech space, it's very hard.
I have like almost maybe 90 or 90 plus tabs open. I'm
Oh,
sure if I did that there.
okay. So I'm not the only one. Like everybody looks and they're like, why do you have a million tabs open? I'm like, I can't help it.
I know the funny thing is that I'm never going back to those things, but they're just there just in case.
Very true. Very, very true. You know what? It's refreshing to have these conversations because a lot of us feel like a lot of the things that we're doing, we're on an island by ourselves, and we're the only ones that do this stupidity, you know?
Yeah.
And and here's the crazy part, right? I think that may be a social media fault because even when I am doing social media for someone, I'm curating their feed so it looks so nice. But I
Yes.
know that that's not the person that my client, that's not my client.
It can never be.
No, no. But the feed looks so good, so organized, so curated. But really and truly, that's not entrepreneurs, right? And when you work with
Yes.
entrepreneurs, you know that that's just not how it is.
If you see my desk, you might have a brain aneurysm or something.
Listen, I I get it. Trust me when I tell you, I get it. I get it. I get it. And I wish more people showed the other side. I think, and I know we're talking about it. When you get really big in business, you're so far away and far removed from the starting point
Yes.
that you don't remember what it was or what it took to get from point A to point B. And then nobody online shows the real truth of entrepreneurship. You
True.
know, it's a lot of paper, it's messy, it's not organized,
I think I was listening to a podcast recently, and someone mentioned that too. I've forgotten who was talking about when people come on and talk about their story, and when they talk about this their morning routines and the ice baths and the this and the that. And and the funny thing is that at the point where they're doing these things is where they have a really large team that's taking abstracted everything away from them. They are no more in the trenches,
Right.
digging out, solving problems, putting out fires every few minutes. So they
Yes.
don't even understand. And
Mhm.
most people starting out read those things, and you start your business and you want to start doing ice baths in the morning and morning routines, and I don't know.
You know, I'm glad you say that because I had a conversation with someone the other day and they're starting their business. They may be in like month 5 of entrepreneurship. They've
Yeah.
never had a business before. This is month 5, brand new. They're like, I'm just so overwhelmed. There's so much work, and I really need to slow down. I'm like, no, that's
You need to speed up.
I'm like, no. So you don't move from a 9 to 5 and go into entrepreneurship thinking that it's going to be easier, that you're going to have more time, that it
Hmm.
allows you to have a flexible schedule. Nothing that doesn't exist. But no one talks about that.
No, all of that is just a really, really, really big lie
It is.
because it is because I talk to a lot of people about that because I've never had a job before. So the friends I had when I was in uni and all that, a lot of times they're like, "Oh, my job is stressful. My job doesn't pay that much. I want to start business, or my job doesn't give me enough time for my family, and I need to start business so I can take time off." And I'm like, if you start a business and you start taking that time off, the business is not going to last.
If you start a business thinking you're going to make money,
Honest, taking time off. Even exactly, even thinking you're going to make money, because that's why when I talked about my first business, I said specifically I was fortunate that one worked, because most don't work.
no,
Most
they
don't
don't.
work the first time. Most don't
No,
even work.
no, 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 no. And I mean, you're talking to someone who's, I mean, yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's a really hard thing. And that's why I started this podcast because I really want to shed light on the truth of it. And I want not just entrepreneurs to listen to this, but I
Yeah.
want customers, clients to listen to this. Businesses that start out aren't Amazon. And everybody thinks about Amazon, but they don't think about where he started from, where Jeff Bezos
Yes.
started, right? Where did he start and how long did it take him to get there, right? Right? The concept of treating business owners like they can drop ship or provide your service the next day, or these are real life people, individuals, right? That are trying to provide a service for you, but light speed, they're sacrificing time with family, they're sacrificing all these things to provide a service. And I feel like, at some point someone needs to say what you're seeing isn't real life.
That's all.
No,
It
it's
it
not real.
isn't.
It's curated and people make it sound easy. It's not easy. It's hard work. It's a lot of stress.
It
Hmm.
is. It is because I used to say back in that was 2018. 2018, I actually used to have high blood pressure. So that was when I used to have poor business at the time because there was just so much going on. I didn't have time to exercise every day. Every day, some just imagine four business at a time. So every day something new is going to go wrong. And then I had a team, but I hadn't really figured out how to really delegate. So then when something goes wrong, it just comes straight to me. But
Right,
what I learned
right.
after that is that when you delegate everything. You delegate even this problem solving to the person. So I learned this from someone, I think when I was doing some of this thing, where he said, when you have a team member that comes to you with a challenge, ask them to give you three possible solutions to that challenge.
Ooh,
And after they give you three possible solutions, ask them to choose the best. If you
right.
do that like two, three, four times, they will not come to you again because they will know how you think. They will
Hmm.
know that you're not going to solve their problem. You're going to make them solve the problem. And that will mean you've abstracted yourself, the problem solving away from me. I didn't know that then. Then I was problem solver
I
in
love that.
chief.
No, no, no. I like that you say that. I like that you say that. I like that you say that because I feel like in my previous business, a lot of responsibility, and you can't be everywhere all at once,
That's
right?
all.
And and that is the issue. But now with technology, and I know I've been implementing a lot of technology and AI for people that implement that does help us. That
Yes.
the entrepreneur coming up, that is going to help them. And in the next
Yes.
year or two, it's gonna take off.
It is.
And how
It
are you
is.
using it in your business?
All right. So basically, some of the things we do for marketing, we do content, so blog posts and things like that. We've always done blog posts from the beginning, but it was getting expensive and time consuming, both of
Mm-hmm.
them. Because first I
Mm-hmm.
used to have someone I used to outsource it to, then later I had someone in the office doing it, but it just takes some more time. Then in comes AI. And with AI, like what we would use maybe 3, 4, 5 days to produce before, we'll do that in like an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
And an hour or two because we usually edit everything. So it sounds like this thing,
Right,
but without the editing, 10 minutes.
right,
10
right.
minutes. So it's just something else. Then plus this like the for my podcast now, something like transcription. Before we had to ship out the video,
Right.
you have to ship out your video to someone to listen to and transcribe. And you just upload it, and 5 minutes you have your full transcription. Just go through for any mistakes,
Listen,
and
when
it's
when when
just
rev.com came out, I was like, what?
it's
Listen,
just it's a lifesaver.
a lot of these things are lifesavers. Like if we had this prior to 2020, think about all these people sitting home 2020, right? What
Honestly.
could have happened? Oh man, listen, everything I think becomes full circle, and I think it goes to serve us, that, you know, now you can take some hours back and it's like having another employee.
Exactly. Exactly. Like my assistant I mentioned, most of the things she does, I have like a Google Doc that shows how all those things are done. So most of them is just like for the articles now, it's just okay, every month we research the articles that we come out for the month. Then on each week, the article for the week, look for a good title, tell AI to do an outline, tell AI to write the outline section by section. So at time is just the time is just nothing, just doesn't take any this thing, just
Right.
doesn't take any time. Yeah, compared to maybe before, you'll be like, oh, can you do this for me? Oh, I'm writing the article you said I should write earlier. Everything is just
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we know, managing people is not easy.
it's I think that's the hardest thing I had to learn because I'm an introvert. I growing up I didn't really I was just this kind of person. I know I mentioned earlier, and I used to be buried in my computer. So I was this person that didn't really have a lot of friends. I was always on my own. Then started my business, and all of a sudden, I have people I have to motivate and talk to. And I think that was really difficult for me, really difficult. But I think that's what we do as entrepreneurs. We just pick what's uncomfortable and
Yeah.
get comfortable with it.
You don't have a choice. You don't have
You
a
don't have
choice.
a
I mean,
choice.
now we have AI, but a lot of people not they they probably don't even know how to use it accurately,
Yes.
right? And there's so many ways that it can be used in the business to help them, but they think that just putting it into Chat GPT and listening to what Chat GPT spits out. But
No.
that too is funny. When I watch it, it is too. It is funny. But you know, at the end of the day, I think that's where our expertise come in. Your expertise and
Yes.
marketing, and my expertise as well. I think that's why you get people that know about how to do it.
Yes, yes, yes. Or else you just waste a lot of time because I see a lot of especially with the content writing parts. Like I just described our process for content writing. I said it takes like an hour or so. Some businesses might just decide, okay, I want to use AI to write my content, and they just write an article on this and it spits out something and they paste it. There are different things to take into cognizance. First of all, one thing I always say is that AI can lie very confidently.
Mhm.
Very
It's true. It's true. And they don't even realize that a lot of it won't rank because Google picks it up. So
Yes. Yes, because I think I so they mentioned that earlier. I think that was in March, right? That Google deranked a lot of the sites using AI. And the funny thing is that they deranked them, but my blog, I have like a blog like on AdSense and all that using AI. Nothing happened to it.
well, here's the thing though. What you did say was important. You have it create something, but you go through and you edit it.
Edit
Whereas
it, yes.
other people will take it and then they put it, they don't have the time, right? So
Yes.
they're business owners, they're busy, they're like, oh, AI is great. They have it write the thing and they just spit it out and put it up there, and you're like, that's not how it works. You
Yes. And it
know?
doesn't have personal stories, it doesn't have any link to you as a
Correct.
person.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. They definitely aren't getting the yes, it's an assistant, but you still have to be there. You still have to be
Yeah.
present, or someone.
You need to be the supervisor.
Exactly. Well, it was a pleasure speaking to you, and I want you to tell our listeners a little bit more about where they can find you, a little bit more about what to expect when they find you.
All right. I think the only two places I update on social media are my LinkedIn. So that's linkedin.com/my name. I think I'm the only person with my name on LinkedIn for now. Probably someone will get born soon and take over. So that's my LinkedIn, first of all. Then my podcast, YouTube. That's Tech Your Business podcast. So those are the only two things I know that are updated at least every week. So you can come on the LinkedIn. I just post random things that get in my head. On the podcast, it's Tech Your Business. So for your business, different ways you can use tech to make your business better, help your business do more with technology. Like I think some weeks ago we had an episode where I talked about this my process of writing better content with AI, things you can do, things you should watch out for, those
Good.
words that AI always uses, like unleash, discover, things
Yeah.
like that.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that's basically the two places you can reach me: techyourbusiness podcast.com or LinkedIn.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I'm sure it will not be the last.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for enlightening our fellow listeners. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, perfect.